Hi, and welcome to another episode of Monday Motivation brought to you by Dominate Your Day. I started Monday Motivation as a space for many episodes of my podcast so that I could share inspiring ideas and thoughts for leaders in the workplace. As a former corporate leader, I know what it feels like just to need a little boost each week. So, I am going to share in each episode a topic that hopefully will motivate you or empower you. This month, we've been talking about finishing strong, and today's topic is about the subject of happiness. What makes us happy? So, as we are in the final weeks of December and we prepare to bid farewell to 2023, I wanted to focus on finishing strong and reigniting the spark of happiness in our lives as we step into this next chapter called 2024. And I think it's been something that I've been really interested in. I've read a couple of Arthur Brooks' new books, especially one with Oprah Winfrey on how to build your life. I think that one of the cool things that Arthur does, and he also wrote Strength to Strength. He's at Harvard and he's written several books, but he's kind of like the happiness guru at Harvard. And I have several friends that are in Boston right now, and one whose husband is actually attending Harvard, and she got to hear Arthur and Oprah talk about this book. So I'm fascinated with happiness. I'm fascinated with why some people have it and some don't. And so I wanted to really focus in on how we can reignite the spark of happiness and what we need to think when we think about happiness. And I love the thought that happiness is not a destination, but it's a journey that requires self-reflection, it's inner strength and meaningful connections. So to help you on this journey, we've gathered some essential takeaways and tips to keep you inspired and thriving. So first of all, what is happiness? So I went out to get the best of the best and as they talk about happiness and positive psychology. And I went to Martin Seligman. And he says that happiness is intentional and involves taking responsibility for our own well-being by cultivating a positive outlook on life. So I want to ask you to ask yourself, is there a baseline for happiness in your life? So I was having coffee with a friend last week, and she's been on a hamster wheel for probably about 3 years. And I asked her the question, what are you looking forward to in 2024? And she couldn't come up with anything. It's been so long since she's had a baseline for happiness that she couldn't think of anything. And she said it really stirred her. I heard from her a couple days later, and she said, I've really been thinking about your question. She's had a lot of adversity, as well as several of my other friends. But you wonder why some people are going through adversity and handling different and others aren't. And I think that I love what Viktor Frankl taught as he teaches us about the power of finding meaning in the most challenging situations. And he just said, as a Holocaust survivor and a psychologist, he said, if we can adopt the mindset of just being, learn from adversity and find meaning in adversity instead of seeing it as something as ugly as it is. And I've gone through some really dark times in my life, but I always got myself around other people that would help me, counselors, family members, friends that would help me get to the other side. And I knew it was my mindset. And Viktor Frankl was one of the early pioneers of this, who talks about the power of finding meaning in the most challenging situations. And I think by adopting his mindset, we can discover happiness even in adversity. Nobody wants to go through horrible things that we have in our life, but I think if we power through and we get through it and we get people alongside us, we can get through it, get on the other side and see the meaningful parts of it. And that's what teaches. There's the teaching right there. What is the meaning in the adversity? And let's find that. I also think it's an invaluable life skill to have because we're either going in a valley or we're coming out of a valley. And we're either going in it ourselves or we're going alongside a friend in it. So how do we keep that? How do we manage our mindset through that? And then I think it's also important to embrace purpose. If you know your purpose, you have direction, and it helps you pull through in the tough times. And you have a focus, and ultimately you're happy because you are doing meaningful work and making a difference. So I think it's real important to find the meaning in adversity and learn from Viktor Frankl, learn from Arthur Brooks, learn from Oprah. What are the things that you can change about your mindset, either when you're going through adversity or you're coming out of it? And how do you find the baseline for happiness? So your action item for the week is to take an audit of this past year and ask yourself these 3 questions. What challenges did you get through this year? And what were your moments that adversity came and you learned something? And I tell you, one of my favorite things to do is write, and I did this last year, and I might have mentioned this to you before, but I actually went through my life and I wrote down all the times I had pivots in my life and I got through them. And it really kind of gave me energy to see how resilient I was through different times and how I got through them. And it gave me the energy to see, oh, I could do this. And there was meaning in each one of those situations. And I learned something. The other question I want you to ask is, who are you hanging out with? Where are you building your relationships? Are they life-giving or are they sucking the life out of you? So many times people don't realize it, and I've realized this over the last 5 years, especially building my business, that we are the sum of the people we hang out with. And I've got an amazing collection of really cool and interesting friends. There's some that drain me, and there's some that give me energy, and there's some that challenge me, and there's some that want to help me grow. There's some that always are the Debbie Downers, and some that are wanting to say, okay, how can I support you? And it's finding those people in your life and getting yourself around them that are really going to challenge you to grow. The other question I want you to ask yourself is, do you know your purpose? Do you know what you're here for? Have you defined your mission? Most people have not. And if you do know it, can you say it easily? Because most people have never thought of creating a purpose statement or their mission, they don't even know there's one inside of them. It's there. We just need to unlock it. And I have some simple exercises that help me uncover my mission statement and my core values. And I have that all in the Strengths Journal, which is a daily planner based on your unique talents. And it's a companion guide to the Clifton Strengths. So I want to encourage anybody that is listening to this and doesn't, when they're doing this quick audit of the past year, and they can't remember or can't recall opportunities they had through adversity, they can't really identify who they're hanging out with that's helping them grow, that's draining them, and they don't know if you don't know your purpose statement, your mission, I want you to feel free to reach out to me at danawilliamsco.com, and I will help get you going. There is nothing more empowering to me, and this is my mission, to help people birth their purpose and live it out every day. There's nothing more empowering to me than when I see light bulbs go off and people have well up in tears and they realize their calling has been there the whole time. Nobody has unlocked it yet. And I love to help people unlock that. So find us at, you can find me on LinkedIn. You can also come to danawilliamsco.com, and I'd love to help you. This has been another episode of Monday Motivation from Dominate Your Day. Feel free to follow, like, and subscribe for more inspiring episodes. And if you're ready to take your strengths development to the next level, be sure to check out the Strengths Journal, which is on Amazon. And you can also find it at danawilliamsco.com. You can also schedule a free discovery call. I'll be happy to talk to you about your teams, your workplace, your career, where you're going, and get you the right help you need. So, just quickly before we finish, most listeners don't yet follow the podcast. Every additional follower we get helps us to raise the profile of the podcast and bring you more episodes. So if you can do one thing for us today, then please hit the follow button and get updated whenever we put new content live. But if you can do a second thing, could you share this podcast with a friend? Thanks for listening and have an amazing entry into 2024. We're excited to be here with you.